Right, so what we're looking at here is a drill that was inspired by a brother of mine, Michael Mulder. He's also a fellow UC instructor. He was looking at basically striking from an attachment. So what he was doing is he was doing a two-handed attachment, and basically he was looking at how he can use the elbow without taking his arm off. So how from here, if I push him out, I can bring him into this elbow, which is sort of an incidental strike. Okay, I'm not necessarily looking to knock the guy out with this, but I'm looking to hurt him. I'm looking to hurt him with everything I do. So if I'm ragging him about and we're in this sort of tussle and I create a gap and I can put in this elbow, then why wouldn't I? You know, it makes sense. But what you want to do is learn how to develop power from this. So the drill that he was doing was, he was putting the pad here, I think, and then you have hold of your partner. The idea of this is that I want to make sure that I've got at least two hands on him. Okay, there's a few principles here that are involved. So obviously, for starters, this is more of an incidental strike. You know, I'm not necessarily looking to knock him out, I'm just looking to hurt him with this strike. But also, you've got crashing the gap and building the gap. So if I'm in here, yeah, then I need to build a gap. Okay, I need to build a gap to allow me to crash the gap. Okay, and at the same time as me crashing, obviously I want to maximise my impact with power by pulling him onto the strike. So this is doubling the force. And you'll see this more when we start looking at other tools like the head and the knee. Okay, but for now, all I want you to do is just get an attachment. It doesn't really matter what his arms are doing. All I'm looking at is having two hands, some sort of attachment. I'm looking from here to bump him forward to create a gap. Okay, and then from there, all I'm looking to do is literally folding this elbow in to make the impact. So from here, here. Okay, you can see I'm just building the gap and then pulling them in and crashing the gap with the elbow. Okay, so just want you to work this first, and then we'll get on to the next tools to use. Right, when you're ready. Good. Right, so sticking with this drill, we're going to look at another tool. So what we just looked at there was the use of the elbow. Now we're going to look at the use of the head. Okay. Now obviously you do need to take into consideration height. So if I'm dealing with somebody smaller than me, it's going to be difficult for me, if he's down here, for me necessarily to get a headbutt. I'm not saying that I can't headbutt him, but it's a lot easier for him to headbutt me than it is for me to headbutt him. Because I need to either get his head up and my head down to headbutt him, or I need to get my head down to headbutt him up. Okay. Either way, it's easier for him to headbutt me than it is for me to headbutt him. Okay. So for the purpose of this, and just for now to keep it simple, I'm going to work with someone of a similar size. All he's going to do is he's going to hold the pad to his head, and I'm just going to take this similar sort of attachment again. We're going to start nice and close. So it's the same thing. I'm going to bump him away so that I can pull him back into this headbutt. Okay. Put this to your head. Alright, so from here, so it's just literally bumping him and then pulling him into the head. So the way this would look without this, you know, from here, if I've got this sort of attachment here, I'm just bumping him away and then bringing the headbutt, you know, or I'm bumping him away and then bringing him straight onto that elbow and then bringing him straight into this knee. Okay. So we're going to put these into combination in a minute. But for now, between you get your partner, literally he's going to hold the pad up to his head. This is a timing issue. What you want to do is when he bumps you away, and you know he's going to pull you back in, so as he pulls you back in, push, catch the shot. Okay? So from here, push, push. Okay? One more. Good, that's it. Next one up. Good. Right, so the last tool we're looking at now is just looking at the knee. Okay, so we're using the same principle, we're in nice and close. All I'm looking to do from here is I'm looking to build the gap and I'm looking to crash the gap, okay? So what this is allowing me to do is to maximise my impacted power. Because yes, I could from here just knee in, I can still knee in good and hard from here, but not as hard as if I double that distance and now pull him on to this knee, okay? So what I'm looking at doing is just literally shoving him away and pulling him onto this knee, okay? So from here, okay? And stepping through with that knee. Right, so what we're looking at here is just putting a couple of these strikes together. Okay, so the first little combo I want to do is just going to work with putting the head to the knee. Okay, so I'm here in this starting position. This would be like we're in this position here. Okay, we've just crashed gaps. Okay, we're crashed in here. We're in this position. From here, what we're going to do is pull him away and then bring him into that headbutt. And then from here, that's created that gap again. So now I'm looking at pulling him onto that knee. So the way that would look is from here. Yeah, from there. So here. You right? Okay, so your partner really needs to get that pad down fast. Okay, but you can see without the pad, we're in this position here. I'm just literally pushing him away, bringing him into that head, and then bringing him into that knee. Okay, follow up from here would be I'll just drag him to the floor. So from here it would be here, bang, bang, here. Okay? Alright, let's work it. Yeah? Yeah, spot on. Good. Alright, swap over next guy. Good, switch over. That will be on the video.
Yeah, sorry. That's going to be doing the rounds when I fucking was.
So you're going to do 2 and then finish with a snatch, yeah? And the second one is going to snatch.
Snatch on the second
one. What we're looking at here is just the last combination that we're going to do. So this is obviously incorporating another principle of high-low. Okay, so the last one we just did was the headbutt to the knee. Now we're looking at the elbow to the knee. So starting from this sort of attachment again, what I'm going to do is bump him out, put him into that elbow, and then put him into that knee. Okay? So one more time, I'm here, so it's here. Okay, and then the last one, just add in the snatch. So from here, okay, we get off. Right, when we've been training this, what we've found is a few things, okay? So for starters, when I say that we're working from an attachment, okay, we've been working from this sort of side attachment where we've got the clothing. Now, clothing, depending on how heavy it is obviously easy to tear. So out of the shirt, you don't get much, it just tears, it's out of your arms. But it wouldn't really matter. If I'm here and I rag him off and I just tear this, I'm not going to fucking look at it. I'm just going to come straight back in and hit him and I'm going to carry on. You know, so it doesn't really matter that it tears because it's just part of the process. I'm going to branch immediately to something else. But obviously if he was wearing thicker clothing, then it wouldn't tear and I would be able to use this. But what's better than clothing is body parts. You know, if I have a hold of him here and I have hold of him on the tricep, or if I have hold of him here, this should be the same, you know. So from here, look, I can bump him out and I can bring him into the headbutt, you know, and then I can bring him into the knee. You know, all I'm looking at is working from an attachment. I'm not telling you how to attach, I'm just saying that when you're in this position, we're looking at how we can strike from this. I'm looking at creating the gap and crashing the gap, okay? We can use our heads, knees and elbows. So just a few now, just as a demonstration of how it would actually look, is I could be here, from the head, knee, and then rag him to the floor here, and finish him. Or I could put in the elbow, so it could be here, put in the elbow, put in the knee, and then rag him to the floor. and finishing. Okay. What we also found is that there's a lot of incidental strikes. So sometimes when you pull him away here, this elbow would start slightly get stifled. But what would still happen is you'd end up putting him onto your shoulder. So you get these sort of little incidental strikes. Now, to me, this elbow here is incidental anyway. I'm just looking at crashing in, you know, crashing in here, I'm just hitting with this elbow and putting the knee, and then I can branch to something else. Okay, so this is, like I said, it's took this drill from Michael Mulder, and I'll just elaborate on it a bit more. So I hope you guys like it.